And this trend line right here was the daily trend line that had been happening for the last month, right? So this was an important area to really pay attention to. Like you can see, price is just following that trend line for multiple days. And then this was the first convincing break of that trend line. So once that happened, I was like, all right, I really want to see if price comes up and follows this trend line again, or if it just continues to blast down. In this case, it didn't even want to attempt to go back up to the trend line. It just went lower and lower and lower. And we just ended up trending for, this was all of Friday pretty much. We just ended up trending for all of Friday. Like it was a forever short, right? This was around 4 o'clock in the morning. Just randomly, I was up when this happened and I was like, what the fuck? Because there wasn't no news or nothing. It just, that was just a crazy breakout candle, right? And I honestly was expecting a retracement up, because that's what has been happening for the last forever, is after a huge breakout candle down, there's a huge retracement up. This was the first time in a long time there was no huge retracement up. It just whoosh, and it kind of screwed me because I sold out of a fairly big position after this breakout, because I was like, all right, I just want to secure my profits because there's probably going to be a reversal up. Had that not happened, I would have made easily $3,000 to $4,000 on Friday, but it's okay. Whenever the next move happens, I'll be able to do it on the next one. So it is what it is. But that's what had been happening, is retracements up. That didn't occur here. We just ended up going lower and lower and lower. You can see how we ended up just making lower highs for pretty much the whole week. And that's why we ended up going lower, right? You follow this trend line, price is just going lower and lower and lower. It's ultimately not like it's tipping down now. For the last long time, price has been tipping up. It is now beginning to tip down, right? So we have to see what occurs. We got to see what price is going to do off of this 50% area. So let me pop up my trades and show you how I took this move. All right, so here is my account, and here are, you know, some of my trades that I was taking throughout the week. And you can see how it says this week I made $1,033.78. So pretty awesome, right? I mean, yeah, I had these fees, but before the fees, I made $1,033. Pretty dope. I ain't mad at it, right? $1,000 a week is solid income. And that $1,000 could have easily been $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. But I'm definitely grateful for this 1,000, right? And like I said, there were a couple trades on here that I ended up taking that ended up netting me over 1,000 points on the position. So let me mark those trades out. All right, so you can see right here, this was actually the highest position that I ended up getting into this week. And you can see, you know, it was on the 17th. And it was at 44,670. That was my entry price. And that is around right here. Okay, so this position right here is this position right here. This is the highest position that I ended up taking on this past week. And at my entry price was at 44,670. So you can see how this entry price right here is 44,670, and my stop loss on this position was 44,726. So that's up here. So I couldn't get exactly at 726. I could get it at 727, but you get the point. And my stop loss was around 57, 56 points. My exit price was 44,454. So right down here, right? This is one of those things where it was just kind of unfortunate because there was like a sort of, I'm not gonna say a glitch, but there was just a little bit of a lag in my software that was occurring at this point in time at 1713, and I was like, oh shit, I think I need to get out right now. So I ended up getting out, and like I said, almost every single drop has been like accompanied with a huge rise afterwards. So after I saw that huge drop happen, and after I saw there be like a little bit of a glitch in my software, I was like, I gotta get out. I'm not even gonna mess with this. So I just closed every single one of my positions and just took the profits. But my goal with this position was just to take it, was just to hold it, right? All the way down as long as I could. Had that glitch not happened, I would have held this, right? And you can see my stop loss never got executed on that position because my stop loss was this area up here, right? Had that occurred, had that glitch never occurred and I was able to hold this position all the way down to here, I would have got out right around this point, which is where I got out of all my other positions. That would have made this trade a 1 to 21.7 risk reward ratio trade. That is absolutely insane. But that is literally what I did. That's what you're able to do with price action. That's what you're able to identify whenever you're able to understand price action. Let me show you my biggest trade that I actually ended up taking all the way down for over 1,000 points though. Let me bring that trade up. That's gonna end up being this trade right here, this 44,607 entry point, right? And that was on the 19th at 11:46. So we're gonna go right here. So this trade right here is an actual representation of this trade right here, like on the charts, right? You can see how entry price was 44,607 right here. Entry price 44,607. That would be that point right there, right? And my stop loss was initially 44,665. I know that this is 43,665 because I just kept moving it down as, you know, the move was happening. But you can see how this price up here, this is 44,665, and I was risking around 57 points, right? I was risking around 57, 58 points. I ultimately ended up making around 1,078 points, right? Between these two, because these two positions were the same. You can say how they were entered at the same time, but I just broke the position up. I exited at 2 different times. You see how this was 1 minute before this one, right? So this is relatively the area where I got executed out at. So this trade took just under 2 days, and I was risking 57 points to potentially make. At this point, I was trying to get it down to these lows right here. That would have been around 485 points for a risk reward ratio of 8.38, right? That's amazing in itself. But I ended up taking it all the way down to this point right here, which ended up being a risk reward ratio of 18.62 to 1. That is amazing. That is incredible. And here's the proof. Here's the entry point. Here's the exit point, right? I really did do that. You can do this. You just have to be patient, right? I waited a long time for this to happen. Look how long I waited for a move like that to happen. It was in a range for a whole month like this, right? I wish that moves like this happened every single day, because then it would be easy to identify. You can just fucking get in it, but they don't. Things take time to develop in the market. You can see how it was taking a long time to develop, but once things get to that point of them being developed and it's ready to blast off, like the pressure cooker is just getting more and more pressure built inside of it and it's ready to just blow, it's gonna blow in one direction, and whenever it blows, it normally blows in a violent way. This is that case. It blew in a violent way. It blasted off in a violent direction, right? Which allowed me to capitalize and just take the whole move down. And that's how I was able to make around 1,000 this week. And the beauty of this is that this is just the beginning. This is just the first down day out of this range, right? So what is gonna happen next? I have no idea. I don't know whether we're going to go like this, go up and continue up higher. I don't know if we're gonna do that. I don't know if we're gonna do something like this where we just keep kind of inching our way down and we end up breaking this low and end up going way lower. I don't know if we're going to continue to have a violent move down like this and then bounce up and do something like this. I have no idea, right? But I can tell you now that the momentum is now on the bearish side. Once this candle gets reversed, right? Once that high gets broken and price closes above this high right here, then we're going to be more bullish than bearish. But because this candle closed the way that it did, all the way down here, away from this area, because price, like I said, was in this 50% retracement zone for such a long time, right? It was in this area for such a long time. Now we're all the way down here. Whenever we do end up coming up here, anybody that had a position up here is gonna be so thankful that price ended up retracing back up here. They're probably gonna wanna get out because it already had a violent move down. There's a good chance they're gonna wanna get out because it's already had a violent move down. We finally got back up so that they can get out of their position, either break even or with a small loss. And it's after, let me get rid of this, it's after all of this upward price action, all of this bullish price action that has occurred over the last year, right? This is everything that's occurred over the last year. I'm gonna go on a bigger chart so that you can see. This is everything that's occurred over the last year. You see how we have been going up. This is the first time we've actually been showing we wanna go lower. And we still have not even broken this low. This is the major low that we need to pay attention to. If this major low gets broken convincingly, then we can end up retracing to at least the midway point from this low to this high, right? Then we can touch this area. Not saying that's gonna happen. Not saying it's gonna happen at all. I'm just saying if this low gets broken, this is already the 25% retracement from this high. This is just the next level to be hit. So is it gonna be hit? I have no idea. So now we gotta wait to see what happens down here. We gotta wait and see if price ends up moving all the way down here. And then once it does come down here, we're gonna see what happens. But we are now officially in a trading range on the daily chart. We are now officially in the middle of that trading range on the daily chart. What might happen now is just a replay of this. All of this just indecisiveness and just going up and down, up and down, up and down. That might be what occurs right now. Just indecisiveness going up and down, up and down, up and down to prepare for the next either move up or next move down. We could be going something like this. We could begin to do I'm gonna get rid of this so that you can see this more clearly. We could begin to do something like this, go up, 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 because we end up following this trend line, because this is the trend line that's been happening over the last year. We could end up doing something like this and then touching the top of that trend line again, right? Touching this and seeing how price reacts. You know, we could end up doing that. We very well could. We could also end up doing this. We could end up retracing higher, a little higher, and then end up making a lower high and then going like this. Could end up doing that as well. And we could also go like this. We could also go all the way to the bottom, hit this low, right? Break this low or come near to breaking this low, and then end up retracing higher to stay within this range, right? There's multiple possibilities of what's going to occur. Nobody knows what's going to happen. The only thing that we know is going to happen, price has to move. So we have to see what price does. If it wants to go higher, the first thing it has to do to go higher, it's got to break above this. It's got to get above this high on this candle. If that, let me get rid of this. If that candle's high does not get broken, we are bearish. We will remain in a bearish trend until this high gets broken. If it gets broken, then this is now the low that we need to pay attention to. This is now a higher low than this low, and we might continue to go higher. Gotta wait to see what price action tells us, right? We'll see what happens throughout this next week, and we'll see if anything amazing happens or not. We could just continue to just be indecisive and bounce at the 50% area, because that's where we are right now. So let's just see what happens. But yeah, that's everything that I wanted to say regarding the chart. So let me end this video correctly. All right, so there you have it. We finally broke out of the zone that we were trading in for the last month, and we're finally showing that we want to be a little bit more bearish and we want to be bullish. But we're also at another 50% retracement area. So what's gonna happen from here? I don't know. I gotta wait to see what price action tells me, right? I just have to read it and react to whatever the chart is telling me it wants to do. That's what I'm gonna do for the next week. That's what I'm gonna do for the next forever. You never wanna predict, you always wanna react. If you wanna learn how to do this, I just released my course, Potential to Infinity, and it is now out for everybody to get. It's my course that teaches price action like this, teaches price action fundamentals and understanding how the market moves and what potential moves the market could end up doing, right? It teaches you how to identify this. It teaches you how to identify moves that I just identified to be able to make $1,000 over the last week. The thing with the market is everything is relative. I made $1,000 on the money that I had, but if somebody has much more money than me, they could make $10,000 or $100,000 or $1 million. I've seen people do it. So anything is possible, right? The potentials are infinite. And you as a person, you have infinite potential within you. You just have to have it awaken within you. And you have to believe that it is within you. That is my goal with Potential to Infinity, is to awaken that infinite potential within you. So I'm just really glad that I've been able to release it. And I definitely think you guys should go check it out. So click on the link in the description and it'll take you to the course. I'm gonna end the video on that note, but I just wanna say that love, understanding, integrity, courage, and faith is all that we need to strive for in order for us to reach towards our true potential to infinity. All of us had infinity within us. All we need to do is realize it. So embrace the infinite. On that note, I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Whoosh.